Hi, I'm Reverend Tom Kearns. Welcome to 333 Magic 9, your astrology channel. This video will help you understand how current events and Washington, D.C. validate astrology. So share it with your friends. I'd like to give you a clue for an easy way to understand astrology. Let's compare astrology to the board game Clue. The game takes place in a mansion with many rooms. Each player must determine who committed the crime, in which room, and with what weapon. Each player determines the solution by gathering clues. Like the mansion in Clue, astrology has 12 houses or rooms. And like the rooms on the board in Clue, these houses are sections of the astrology chart. And this is where we're going to look for our clues. Now, astrology also has planets and signs that fit into the houses or rooms on the chart. They provide us clues to the events that are happening. For example, Scorpio rules sex and manipulation. Heard anything about that lately? The planets in astrology form aspects or energy signatures which can give us a clue as to the nature of current and future events, whether they be difficult or easy. So let's take a look at the clues in astrology that explain current events and what is happening in America and Washington, D.C. We'll use astrology keywords, which give us clues to meanings of the events. Here are two books that list keywords in astrology. Each keyword is associated with the meaning of the signs and planets in astrology. Think of the keywords as if you were doing a Google search on your computer. These books were published in 1969 and 1970. So the concepts have long-standing and validity today. Each keyword we will look at is a characteristic of one or more of the signs. Here's some keyword examples. The sign of Scorpio include keywords such as sex, manipulation, secrets, investigation, spying. Have we heard any of that? The sign of Sagittarius encompasses publishing, universities, excessiveness, optimism, religious belief, intolerance, and legal concepts. And Capricorn focuses on ambition, restriction, delay, corporations, structures, government, and infrastructure. Pisces concepts include spirituality, group consciousness, reputation, depth like the oceans, fraud, hidden secrets, and nefariousness. Now the planets can be the players in the astrology game. Mars is the warrior, Venus the lover, Jupiter the truthseeker, and Saturn the judge, and so on. The very nature of the game can be represented by Pluto, who was Hades in Greek mythology, and the sign Scorpio, which rules secrets, mysteries, investigations, and deaths of outworn conditions so new can be reborn. Let's look at the chart of the United States. It has Sagittarius rising. And here are some of the key words for Sagittarius: justice, religion, optimism, expansion, foreigners, and some of the negative concepts are excessiveness and intolerance. Now, the United States was born July 4th under the astrological sign of Cancer, which is a water sign. Cancer rules home and family. Isn't it interesting that one of the most important American dreams is to own your own home? Cancer is also self-protective, emotional, and finds security in wealth. Now let's look at some of the major themes of the 2016 election season. The swamp, fake news, socialism, tax reform, the economy, healthcare reform, immigration reform, DACA, the dreamers, the wall, FISA, and the deep state. The swamp. Astrology classifies the signs into fire, earth, air, and water elements. We are a Cancer country with 4 placements in water. And currently, Jupiter is in Scorpio, a water sign, and Neptune is in Pisces, a water sign. The planets Saturn and Pluto are in Capricorn, earth sign. So just to keep this simple, when you mix earth and a lot of water, you get a swamp and plenty of mudslinging. Fake news. Candidate and now President Trump used the term fake news. Now, Sagittarius rules the search for truth and publishing, but also exaggeration and irresponsibility. Saturn, the Lord of Karma, was in Sagittarius during mid-2016 election season. Saturn was in conflict with Neptune in Pisces. The dualistic fishes of Pisces and Neptune represent group consciousness, oneness, spirituality, and inspiration. But on the negative side, deception, nebulousness, and fraud. Obviously, there's been plenty of false stories going around, plenty of nebulousness, and plenty of lying. Socialism. There is a long history of a Saturn-Neptune association with socialism. Bernie Sanders attracted many young idealistic supporters because of his socialistic ideas. Trump attacked failed Obamacare as socialized medicine. The rise and fall of communism can also be tracked using a Saturn-Neptune cycle. The violence of Antifa, a supposedly anti-fascist movement, is right out of Lenin, who used violence to create fear and overthrow authority. Tax reform and the economy. Our country is noted for expansion and excessiveness. Saturn in Sagittarius, expansive Sagittarius, Saturn is constrictive, brought a need for tax reform. The last major tax reform was passed when Saturn was last in Sagittarius 30 years ago. The Saturn cycle is 27.5 to 30 years. And with the tax reform passage, the economy is booming. The wall and immigration reform. As a Cancer country, we want security for our home and families. Saturn in Capricorn is associated with boundaries and structures, bureaucracies, conservatism, and restriction. The wall creates boundaries. But Saturn, in opposition to Cancer, causes delays. And when Saturn was in Sagittarius, the sign associated with foreigners, illegal immigration peaked and then decreased. Sagittarius can be excessive, and Saturn in Capricorn wants to restrict. Cancer is self-protective. And the excessiveness of chain immigration is even under review. The dreamers. One of the key words strongly associated with Neptune in Pisces is dreams and dreamers. People who may be longing for a better life, but they don't have the power to create it. Pisces is also associated with the depth of the ocean. And Saturn in Capricorn with the state, the deep state. Now we come to power, sex, manipulation, and reform. These are all textbook Scorpio concerns. secrets, and investigations also reside with Scorpio. Now, Jupiter, Zeus in Greek mythology, the Lord of Justice, is in Scorpio until October of 2018. He will expand investigations into injustice and the abuse of power. Jupiter in Scorpio and Saturn in Capricorn will destroy false forms in government structures so that Pluto in Capricorn can help rebuild it anew. So to repeat that a bit, Saturn, the Lord of Karma, will join Pluto in Capricorn. Now, Pluto was Hades, the ruler of the underworld, and the ruler of the sign of Scorpio in astrology. Together, they will intensify the investigations, exposing and eliminating those guilty of manipulating power. And Pluto, again, will inspire the building of new structures, Capricorn, that will serve the people, not the people in power. In conclusion, by using the simplest keyword concepts associated with the language of astrology, we can see the relationship between current events and how astrology can be used to understand them. Finally, I'd like to end with the words of a famous American physicist, Lawrence Krauss. The amazing thing is that every atom in your body came from a star that exploded. You are all stardust. I hope you enjoy my work. Please subscribe and share it with your friends because it's free.